I'm submitting for my lead track is Oh Mother. This sort of developed from the poetry task. Out of all my tasks this year, I felt this to be my strongest, especially as strongest for one that I've worked on my own. I sort of thought it had a lot of potential and I could take it a bit further if I had putting more time into it than after sort of the 1 week time bracket of the task itself. So that's why I chose to do this song. The song's tempo is around 118. I didn't record to a click. I did a few takes to a click and I just felt it too rigid, and I felt like it needed that space to breathe within the playing of the guitar. The story from the poem that I've sort of used as the inspiration is one where a guy's mum died, and he thinks he's heard her voice and he wants her to sort of sing to him like she did when he was a kid. And he says how 10 years passes and things like that, which is it all sort of fits into my lyrics in the chorus and in the first verse when he says sort of please sing to me on the vocal. Yeah, so I've used it because it had the most sort of, I felt I could develop it a lot, so I think I've done for my final sort of set of lyrics. Musically it's very similar to a Lumineers song called Slow It Down, which is also just sort of a guitar and vocal piece. And I wanted to do it like that because I listened to that song quite a few times and it just feels very powerful and like sort of gets the message across to you. It doesn't feel like a song where there's a full band and as much about the lyrics as about the music. To me, it just felt the music's there to just sort of glue the lyrics together when it needs a gap or a break or a pause, and I wanted that to sort of resonate within my song as well, which is why I've done it how I have. When recording it, I chose to play it on an electric guitar rather than an acoustic because I just found a lot of songs are already there with acoustic and vocals only, and other than a few that I know of, it's not as common, well there is as many, it's not as common to have your song like that with sort of electric guitar and vocal together. So I just wanted to be a bit different with it and have its own feel a bit more, which is why I've done it in that way. And I've structured the song with 5 main vocal sections, and I've done this to sort of represent the 5 stages of grief. I just sort of split up to 5. There could have been another, I could have repeated the section that's at the end, I could have had a half length section of that after the first chorus, but I chose to keep that instrumental just to keep it as a bit of space and a bit of a breath for the song, where things can sort of be a bit more contemplated, and it just adds a bit of dynamic to it. Sort of the song builds up from the intro into that first chorus and then it sort of drops down again where it can rebuild leading up to the end section. The melody isn't too strict either. I had my idea for the melody and then I got Tom in with me to record the vocal, and I said to him, this is how I want it to sound, but any phrasing or any words that feel natural to be sung differently, give that a try, and didn't have to be set in stone. It could just have a sway and a movement and sort of be a bit more improvised and a bit more in the moment than say any other songs within the tasks I've done, which I quite liked. It was the same with the guitar. I played it in a way where the strumming pattern wasn't rigid, it didn't have to be solidly set. The second verse was sort of, I knew sort of I only wanted the C and the A, I didn't want to have the F like in the first verse, but sort of when my changes were, I was just sort of playing in what felt right for that take in that moment, and that's what I've used in it.
I'm Tom Bentley. I sang vocals on Will Davis's track Oh Mother. We decided to sing the vocal with a lot of emotion. It's a very emotional song and it really brought out the meaning in the lyrics. I then added backing vocals and I decided to use my falsetto to do this because I thought it'd make the singer sound a lot more innocent and vulnerable and just more emotional again.
The production I did, I kept it simple. The whole mix is only 5 tracks. Sort of from recording it, I did just one mic on the amp, one mic on the guitar itself as well to get an amplified version, which I've mixed in to sort of just to help it sound a bit more open and a bit more honest, which is what I wanted from the song. So I've done it like that. It sort of adds more sound as if there was an acoustic guitar in it, with it only being one performance as well, which I quite liked. The song, it starts just sort of guitar and then it builds in with the vocal, which like I said builds up into that first chorus, and it's not until the first chorus we really get any harmonies coming in, so it sort of texturally thickens there, and after that we drop down into just the instrumental guitar section, which is this same chord progression as used at the end for the outro. And then once you get back into that verse, we get some more harmonies coming in again, building again up into the chorus, and then to the fullest section, what I would say is the fullest section and the most memorable section of the song being the outro, where we have 3 vocal parts, sort of main vocal, the harmony, and then the second falsetto part where he's sort of saying the "Oh Mother" in between the lines. It's nice how it sort of starts with barely anything and ends with everything there, to then drop back out right at the end just to the guitar. So if I were to do it anything differently, it would just be production wise. I did the all the recording in this room here, just on my 1 amp. If I had the option, I would try and experiment a bit more with sort of multiple mics. I've only got a 2 input interface, so I could only use 2 mics as it is, so I'd probably have a few more mics tracking the guitars, and I'd try a few more experimental things, and if sort of try and using multiple amps at once, using like an ABY pedal. As well as that, I'd probably try on a few different other guitars. I used just my Telly and I thought it sounded really good, but if I could get access to like a nice arch top guitar, I'd probably give it a try on that, because it's just sort of guitars bands like the Lumineers and things like that use, and it sort of suits their sound, so I think it might sort of work well for the song. And other than that, I would probably record in a proper vocal booth. We just made a makeshift one in this room with duvets and blankets, so I think that the vocal would benefit a lot from being recorded in a better environment. Also with a pop filter, which I don't have, which was my only part of the recording in the song I don't really like, is a few of the P's, especially My Pain It Grows, that P in Pain in second verse, really sort of just punches through, and it clipped the mic a little, but due to the time and when I could have Tom here to record the vocal, being as he had his own project to do it as well, I'd end up using that take. But I don't think it makes, I don't think it ruins the song in any way. I just think it would be better if I could do it again, and that's what I would do to improve the song. Lyrically, I wouldn't change anything, because I sort of made a few adjustments on the fly when we were doing the vocal. When I was like hearing it being recorded, I thought, take that line out, change this word, change that word. So that's the only thing I'd do differently. Cheers.